So, let's go back in time. Imagine we go back in time and I'm 15 years old and I am in my sophomore year of high school, and my group members and I were sitting down on the table, and the teacher comes in. She's all like, you guys have to do a presentation on communism. We all look at each other, we're like, we don't really know much about communism. We just know that it's bad for some reason. So now I'm barely turning 19, and I still know people who are my age who don't know how to explain the ideology of communism by its definition. So that's going to be my topic today, is the Communist Manifesto, which is a cultural artifact that's made an immense impact in our history. So the reason why, as college students, it is important to have a basic understanding of what the Communist Manifesto is a Harvard University poll done in April 2016 has conducted that 58% of millennials do not support the current system of capitalism. And of that 58%, 13% actually would like to replace this system of capitalism with socialism. So here's a little citation that I made of the poll done in Harvard University. So I'm going to talk about three things today. And first thing I'll be discussing is what exactly the Communist Manifesto is. Second, I'll be discussing the two writers of the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. And third, I am going to discuss why the Communist Manifesto was written in the first place. So, in my hand is a copy of the Communist Manifesto that my friends have got me from London, because I lost my copy. And as you can see, it's a small book, because when it was published in 1848 in London, it was actually a political pamphlet. So, what's inside of the Communist Manifesto is criticizing what was the current system of the Industrial Revolution in 19th century Europe. And there are some key words that you should know when reading the Communist Manifesto, and that would be two words, which is bourgeoisie and the proletariat. And these key words are used repeatedly all over in the pamphlet. And bourgeoisie is basically the small percentage of people that own the means of production, and basically this is what the system supports. And the proletariat are the large percentage of the population that are typically the workers under the bourgeoisie, and how the exploitation by the bourgeoisie proletariat is a recurring theme in the Communist Manifesto. It also talks about free trade market and dictatorship of the proletariat. Okay, so another point I would like to make is my second point, which is the two writers of the Communist Manifesto, which are these two men with really cool beards. And this is Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So, Karl Marx is a German philosopher and sociologist, and he was a student under another famous German philosopher named Hegel. So, the thing about Karl Marx is that he was very politically involved in a lot of radical political parties, and was eventually exiled from Germany, and he lived in Paris and London. If you want to know more about Karl Marx, this is a good book to read, and this is also my other site, which is Isaiah Berlin's Karl Marx. And it's basically a book about his biography and like analysis of his overall writings in philosophy. I'll pick that up later. The next one is Friedrich Engels. So Friedrich Engels is the second writer of the Communist Manifesto, and he was a son of a bunch of German industrialists. And during the 1800s, he moved to the capital of the Industrial Revolution, Manchester, England, where he worked at a cotton mill. So, in the cotton mill, he had first-hand experience of basically what the working conditions were like in 19th century Europe. And this then goes into my third point, which is why the Communist Manifesto was written in the first place. So the Communist Manifesto was written in the first place because when Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels met in the 1840s in London and joined the Communist Party wanted to commission these two men to write the manuscript to basically have an overall guidebook for people to understand what they're trying to put their point across politically. So, since Friedrich Engels had first-hand experience of what the working class was like in 19th century Europe, he noticed that it was in poverty levels, there was poor working conditions overall, and there wasn't really a political platform to support what the book would describe as the proletariat. So Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels knew that getting these points across in a little guideline would be very useful, but it was also more useful for them to even be politically active as well after writing the manifesto, which they did after 1848. They became activists and basically preached what was part of the manifesto to large crowds all over Europe. And as you can imagine, I mean, the impact that this little book has had after it was published, I mean, the 20th century is just filled with what influence that this book has had on many societies and many nations around the world, and has basically shaped what our history is today. So this is going to lead to my conclusion, and I have talked briefly about the Communist Manifesto. I mean, there are 3 points that I came across, which were what the Communist Manifesto really was, and the 2 men that wrote the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, and the 3rd point, which was why the Communist Manifesto was written. I mean, it is really important to just have a basic understanding of what is in this book, because even if you don't agree with it, or even if you do agree with it, it's as college students who are part of our American democracy. I mean, this is important to be politically informed so that we can have sort of our own opinions on what we can do in elections and such. I mean, thank you for bearing through my presentation. I know that you guys are a little bit restless for having the whole day, but I mean, I hope you guys got something out of it, and thank you.